You're now listening to No Gimmicks.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to No Gimmicks on the DFPN. And it's been a minute, fellas. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've done this, but the time has come. The purge is right around the corner, and we are back talking MPX. And don't worry, we'll get to that in a second. This is this is an all-star dad edition of No
That's
Gimmicks.
right.
You love to see it, right?
Love to see it. But joining me as usual is JJ Jefferson, and welcoming back, we haven't seen this guy in a long time. Welcome back to The Choice, Matt Andrews, and joining us making his No Gimmicks debut, Mr. Elliott. Welcome to the show, fellas.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so glad to be back with the No Gimmicks podcast. Life has been lifing, as you guys know, and life continues to life. I'm over here with Elliot doing breakfast, but I'll tell you what, guys, no better place to be than in the kitchen when you're cooking with grease like MPX is with the purge. Am I right?
Absolutely. We are cooking with grease. Before we get into that, before we get into the purge, there's been some developments. And I do want to talk about one of them because this is very much MPX oriented. The rise of one Maya World. Now we have a big weekend ahead of us, and Forbidden Door is tomorrow, and the Owen Hart tournament is in its finals. And someone we didn't expect to get in the finals, being that they were a last-minute replacement, it seems to be the trend for her. Anytime there's somebody needed, she's the person that they call on. Just quick thoughts from both of you guys. Maya World, first of all, beating Athena, her mentor, and the story behind that, and then going up against arguably one of the greatest female wrestlers to ever put them on, and a person that Maya has credited, even on No Gimmicks, as someone that's got her. That was the reason she wanted to get in the ring. But seeing her take that jump, just your guys' initial thoughts. JJ, I'll start with you.
Yeah, man. What a moment, right? Like, kudos to Maya World for everything that she's accomplished, everything that she's done. We've said it 1,001 times on this show. You enjoy them while we have them, and Maya was one of those definite examples of that. I mean, from Who Runs the World to when she was doing her things with MPX, she just had star power written on her, and moving into the main scene with AEW. We'll get to the comment section in a minute because it's already starting today. But Maya World has a meteoric rise. And Kelvin, be careful saying it too loud that she defeated her, mentor. Athena may be listening somewhere, and you're the one that said it, not me. So if the minion overlord has words, it's gonna go towards you. But what a moment, right? Special moment. Maya getting that and then going to Mercedes. But let's talk about Collision, right? Huge tag team match before Forbidden Door. Maya and Hyon versus Athena and Mercedes. Consider me locked into both of those matches. I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Matt,
Yeah.
What you got?
So I think it couldn't have happened and worked out any better for AEW than it did, right? And I don't say that lightly, because obviously the circumstances under which Maya World found herself as a replacement aren't necessarily the greatest, right? And we mourn the death of her brother, and like that's a terrible thing. But like when you're looking at it from a macro lens, from the outside world in, like that's a gold mine for AEW. And I'm not saying to capitalize and exploit on tragedy, but just the timing of all of it seems to work out really, really great. And then going beyond that, with her being a last minute replacement, and as you said, Kelvin, like that's kind of her gig now, right? Like, I don't know if the replacement girl Maya World is the best nickname, but like it kind of worked, right? But now you've done this with the tournament, and that she beats Athena, and that doesn't hurt Athena because it's the Owen Hart tournament. Nothing was on the line except for that Owen Hart Cup, right? But think about the storyline that builds off of that now. My World's beating the ROH Women's World Champion. And knowing that Athena can carry on long-term storylines, think of how long we just built this, right? She's done so much with Billy Starks and like teased all of that for so long. But now think about what she can do with Maya World in this whole thing, right? So this is a gold mine of a thing, and a great refresher almost for Athena. I don't know if you guys read the comments, which you really shouldn't ever read the comments when you're doing stuff, right? But there's a lot of people saying that Athena's whole deal is getting stale, right? Like, yes, they're fantastic matches, but she always comes out on top. Well, now we've got this unknown factor in Maya World. Is she going to come out on top in this? You don't know. And like, that's another level of intrigue. So this is great. This is really just great theater, great drama.
First of all, love that. And second of all, I love that you did that while taking care of the kid. That's professionalism.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife of professional wrestling. Yeah, take care. I'll do this in the ring, bro. Like, don't tell Angela, but I'll carry that kid in the ring and do ring announcing.
That is impressive. I am impressed. But yeah, I agree with both of you guys. The story, as tragic as it is, it has me dialed in. It's one of the things that got me really invested back into AEW, and the fact that they are telling these stories, though you hate to see what happened to her brother, the other side of this has been very intriguing. It's like it's a force carrying her. So I'm dialed in. Shout out to Phil Noir, the superstar in the comments.
Oh my God, Scrap Metal's here.
Scrap Metal's here. We acknowledge Phil Noir.
Shout out to you.
I could go on for days. The one true Phil Noir.
Yep, exactly. The viral sensation. But yeah, Forbidden Door is something that's got me dialed in. That's one of the stories of why I'm dialed into it. So I'll be tuned into Collision tonight, because that is a great tag team match. The story behind Maya World Hyan going up against Athena and Mercedes. Love that too. But let's get to the chat, because the chat is begging for comments. So
right.
Ignorant University, I'm in the comments today. Shout out to all the dads except JJ. And then shout out to Broken B. Yay, MPX content. Onyx Arfina. Yes, we know this, which is why we're back. And speaking of MPX content, are you fellas ready to dive in to this card that is known as the Purge?
So ready.
All right.
So ready to analyze all of this. This is going to be monumental. And what a way for MPX to return to action here in the North Texas area.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Anything to say. The mask says it for itself.
All right. Enough said. Let's do it. Here we go. This week in MPX, we are back. The Purge. All right, The Purge coming at you July 16th.
July 11th.
July 11th. Sorry. I'm sorry.
This is why I'm driving the bus. See?
You should drive. You got it. Hands off the wheel.
We're gonna scrap that one because that's not the right date, ladies and gentlemen. The Purge is
We'll run it back.
Saturday.
Hold on. Let's run it back. Here we go.
Let's run it back.
We're gonna run it back.
Let's
We're gonna
do
run
it
it back.
right this
We're running
time.
it back. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Metroplex Wrestling returns with one of its biggest shows of the year. The annual Purge is commencing on Saturday, July the 11th at the
Yay.
Southwest Community Center in Fort Worth, Texas. And we have a super stacked card. First and foremost, before we get into it, whoever put this card together as a returning card, kudos to you. Matt Andrews said it earlier. Being in the kitchen, cooking with grease, Metroplex Wrestling is on fire, and you guys come back with an inferno of a show after being away for a couple of months. So kudos to you guys. In the first match, I want to break down with y'all. We had this gentleman on the show not too long ago. We're waiting for the interview to drop, so stay tuned for that. But let's talk titles, right? The Metroplex Prospect title is on the line. New champion, Brother Kaimi, has his first of 4 defenses. And man, Brother Kaimi, defense number 1, this one hurts. He is defending against the Texas Crash Out, the Lone Star Killer, Travis Cuddy. Matt, I want to throw it to you first. What are your thoughts on this match?
Well, it's the emotions riding high for Brother Kaimi, right? And somebody who came so close to being an MPX champion, being on the winning team there of Fight Win Survive when Dave Sagan was champion last year. Somebody who's come so close to that big title so many times. Never having been prospect champion, but this is going to be a ridiculous match. And you're right. What a tug of war for the MPX addicts, right? Between having to choose between Brother Kaimi and Cuddy to root for. Who do you want to come out on top? For those who are tuning in that might be new to the whole idea of MPX and the Prospect Championship, don't forget that the Prospect Champion must make 4 successful title defenses in a row before they can cash in at any point in time for an MPX Championship match. So a lot on the line. Getting past the first one is huge. Obviously, the third one has historically been the most difficult, but the first one, especially after a 2-month layoff, is going to be huge for Brother Kaimi.
Indeed, Kelvin.
Well, for the addicts, stay tuned because we do have an interview with Travis Cuddy on deck, and we were able to speak to him about this matchup and how disrespected he feels about being the first choice of Brother Kaimi in this match, and just his work that he's put in and how he feels like he should be on a higher plateau in terms of not just MPX, but Texas wrestling as a whole. He really said some intriguing things in this interview, and I want you guys, when it drops, to please check it out. It has me thinking, going into this, I was like, this is a tough choice. It is a tough choice for Brother Kaimi. If you want to prove your worth, you do it against the best out there. And coming out of this interview with Travis Cuddy, I really believe that he is who he says he is. He backs up everything that he's talking about. I think this could be a short run if Brother Kaimi isn't on his A game. This could be a one and done situation, and we haven't really seen that with the prospect title in a while. Normally people get to like 3-4. We may be looking at a one and done after this match, but I think I've said it on this show as well. Brother Kaimi is somebody that I since I've started following this guy, I'm like, he has the tools to be an MPX champion. And I think now, especially now, he shouldn't get comfortable. And I don't think he is getting comfortable. I think he is looking for those challenges, but he shouldn't drop his guard, not one iota, when it comes to Travis Cuddy. Because it could be first defense, last defense real quick. And I think he understands that.
Well, right, and let's not forget this isn't Travis Cutty's first dance with MPX, right? So he's been up here in the North Texas area before. So Kaimi has experience with looking at and analyzing the game of Cutty. But that's an interesting tidbit that you dropped there. That Cuddy's got this attitude about it. It's always dangerous when you're having to go into a match with something on the line and you're facing somebody who has a massive chip on their shoulder, such as their pride. And so that's a huge thing for Kaimi to have to watch out for. A lot on the line, of course.
Yes.
Yes, and you know, both of you touched on a lot there, and you know, y'all really set the scene for that interview that Kelvin and I talked about. We did sit down with Travis Cutty. That is coming soon, so stay tuned. No Gimmicks Nation, MPX addicts, you definitely want to listen to that and check that out. And one thing that I just want to, you know, hype a little bit, really focus in on. Both of you hit it perfectly. MPX has been on a hiatus for a couple of months, right? Travis Cutty has been around and doing things, winning championships during that time. And Cutty said it himself. What better night for a title match than the Purge? A night where there's no rules, a night where there's chaos, a night where it's not your normal wrestling night. And on the card right now, there's no stipulation attached to it. But when we get to July 11th, there very well could be a stipulation added to the match, which that could go either way. It could lean in Kaimi's favor, or it could lean in Cuddy's favor. So to both of your points, normally with the prospect title, the third or fourth defense is your hardest. However, this first one, oof, it's rough for Brother Kaimi. So both of these guys have something to prove. Title is on the line. It's a night of chaos. Stay tuned for that one. But speaking of staying tuned, speaking of gold, there are more championships defended at the Purge. This one has my eye as soon as it was announced. And Kelvin, I'll throw it to you first with your thoughts on this one. MPX tag team titles are on the line. Texas Tornado rules, meaning all four guys are going to be in the ring at the same time until we get a winner. The Cure, Tatum Manning, Exodus Prime, defending their titles against the young, the brash, up-and-coming team, now known as Radical Violence from what we've seen and heard. Cowabunga Kid, Adam Green, and the Revenant Langley. Kelvin, thoughts on that one?
First of all, I like the tag team name of The Cure. That is an awesome tag team name. I don't know who to give credit to that one for, but kudos, because that's an awesome name. Being that they have been sort of, it's weird. They've been the Cure for the tag team division for as long as they've held those championships. You see fresh matchups. You see stuff like we're going to get at the Purge. A tag team that Langley and Adam Green, we haven't seen that pairing. And just putting that together, oh, by the way, for a tag team championship in a tornado match, Langley is a wild card here, and he thrives in these environments. And him with Adam Green is someone we've also had on this show. And if you check out his interview, he's another guy he's got the chip on his shoulder. And I think those two guys together, it creates a combustible situation. Because my thing with the Cure has always been how they mesh. And they seem to have found that groove. But with this break that we've had in MPX action, I'm worried about that chemistry. It hasn't been on display in a while. So is it still there from the last time they worked together? Because they have built the chemistry, and they have been a very, very good tag team when they do have the chemistry. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Are we stepping back into a situation where they have to rework on this chemistry and to keep these titles? Because these two guys that they're across the ring against, and you're in a situation where you don't rely on the one-on-one situations. It's pretty much every man for himself in there with a tornado tag team, right? They haven't been in that scenario as a tag team. So what is that going to look like? That's my concern for the Cure. For Radical Violence, it's there for the taking for them. All they have to do is work together. And in a tornado tag team, you can kind of build chemistry in a moment. So it's a interesting matchup. And shenanigans aside, I can see the Cure taking this one, but anything can happen. And it's the Purge. It's one of the most unpredictable nights of the year. Probably the most unpredictable night of the year because you don't know what you're going to get. So it's interesting to say the least.
Love it. Matt, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, without a doubt. So Radical Violence, right, having formed as a team just out of mutual respect between Adam Green and Langley, both saving each other from various situations over the last few weeks, well, last couple of months prior to the layoff there, right? The Cure, though, every week you might think that they don't have it together, but then they always end up pulling it through, right? And I do believe credit is going out to Exodus for the name, The Cure. I have my own theory as to what it stands for because they're very proud of it all. They're the coalition to undo racism forever. So that's where that whole thing comes in. And every time they step in the ring together, Tatum Manning and Exodus as a team, I always think, all right, something's going to go wrong, right? Somebody's going to hit somebody. Somebody's going to run into someone. It hasn't happened. There hasn't been a gap in any sort of communication when it comes to the in-ring action. Outside of the ring, okay, maybe they got their differences. Maybe they don't know whose music they're going to come out to. But inside that ring, there's good as gold. Pun intended. Adam and Langley, like you said, I mean, yes, it's a team formed out of respect. They know each other, but they haven't teamed, right? And while this isn't traditional tag team rules, you still got to know what your partner's doing at any point in time in order to make things happen in that ring. So I think the Cure takes this one.
Okay, I'm not mad at it. I love it. Looking at this match, like I said, when it was announced, this is when we sat down with Adam Green and talked to Adam Green. We talked about this as the young up and comers against the veterans, right? And Adam Green is all about respecting the business, respecting the game, whether it's MPX during his time down at ROW. Adam Green loves paying his dues and showing respect. So for this match, you would think, oh, the gold is on the line, chip on the shoulder, is going to get, a little violent, a little hasty, whatever you want to call it. But for Adam Green, he's looking at this like, hey, I can one up my game even more being in the ring with two veterans, two staples of MPX like Tatum Manning, like Exodus Prime. But to Kelvin's point, the one variable that we don't know about is Langley. And we've seen Langley. Langley has grown through the business, has become his own person. And when you look at Langley anywhere, Langley is thriving. So I wonder, my question is, where is Langley's head in all of this? Because again, it is the Purge. Anything goes. It's Texas Tornado rules. So if Langley comes in and is focused and has Adam Green's back, which we've seen before already, I feel like we could be looking at an new situation just because of how focused we've seen both of those guys be. But for Tatum and X, like you guys said, they are staples. They are on it every time they're in. I just fear that with Texas Tornado rules, say that 3 times fast, with that being on the line, all it takes is just that one little miscommunication. And to Kelvin's point, a couple month layoff, we haven't seen them. That could be the one mistake in the unfolding in their amazing reign so far. If you haven't seen matches from their reign, go check out MPX Network on YouTube. Watch some of those back. Most recently, one was uploaded, them against KOA, Kane Carter and Davion Black. And you can see exactly what we're talking about from the get-go. But speaking of get-go, this one, guys, has my eye. It's had my eyes, had the addict's eyes, and I cannot wait to pick both of your brains on this one. The Southwest Community Center may very well be painted red. We have a first blood match on the card. Brothers, sibling rivalry. It's gotten to this point. There's been a lot that has gotten us here. The Supernova, Tom A and I hope he doesn't appear. Maybe he does. I don't know. Goes against his former brother in the Scorn, the rugged one, Gabe Wilder. First blood action. Kelvin, I want to start with you because the last time that you were not here and I interviewed Gabe, Tom A ambushed Gabe in his own house. So I want to get your thoughts on where this match is and what you can see happening at the Purge.
First off, I took one day off, and you get what you get, right? It is wild what happened. But to Tom A's point, fourth defense, and I talked about this earlier, it's the hardest defense. He was on the cusp of winning that, being able to cash in that prospect title for a title shot of any kind. I'm sorry, for the MPX championship, and it got taken away from him by his brother. I could get the anger behind that. So much so I know where you live. I know when you're home. So I'm going to get my lick back when you least expect it. Just so happened it was on the No Gimmicks podcast. And I'm not mad at him for that. I'm not mad at him. It's a logical response, because what happened with the Scorn, they broke up. That was a while ago. You gotta be able to get past that. Now, for Gabe's part, we hadn't seen Gabe since the Scorn broke up, and revenge was on his mind. So we are in a situation now. I think brother versus brother is one of the most underrated matches in wrestling. When you have that sibling rivalry and you have that hatred and you want to get your get back against each other, I think this is a sleeper. I ain't gonna say sleeper. This might be match of the night, because these two, they really, I ain't gonna say hate. They really don't like each other right now. I don't know if you could actually hate your sibling. Tom may say it. I don't think he necessarily means it. I think he just wants to make his brother pay for costing him a shot at the MPX championship. Yeah. It was written on the wall for him, and things got taken away. Now, First Blood, I can see why they went there, which makes me say I don't think the hate is too strong. I just think Tom A wants to prove a point, get back to his winning ways, and get to the MPX championship where he belongs. I'll say it for you, Tom A. I'll say it for you, sir. Where he belongs. He's had a phenomenal year. But Gabe can be the wrench in those plans. And as much hatred, I say this show in, show out. The worst thing you could bring into a match with high stakes, and these are high stakes for both men, the worst thing you can bring into that is emotion. And I know emotions is very high for both men. It really depends on who's going to make the mistake and have that much hatred on their heart in the moment. Right now, what worries me is that hatred is heavily on the side of Tom A, more so than it is Gabe.
Yeah, I can't counteract that that dissection of this match here, Kelvin. This, I think, is going to end up being the match of the night, right? Because there's so much emotionally invested from the MPX addicts, right? These guys, this is the biggest story on this card, without a doubt, right? Yeah. And I think Gabe has more, I don't want to say revenge, because, I mean, yeah, he got the revenge, he got the lick back at the last show. But I think Gabe has so much more in his mind than just getting that, right? This was an entire family that Tom A chose to break up. This is a legacy that the Scorn had built up that Tom A chose to throw away. And it also ended up costing Gabe about half a year worth of his career. And, like, that's crazy to me. As far as the actual match goes in the stipulation, look, there was a poll that got sent out on Facebook about who people think the best deathmatch wrestlers are, right? And I listed, Sky, Dimitri, Wesley, Tommy Dean, all those guys. And then Gabe came up to me a little bit later, because it was on a Saturday. He came up to me at the show. He goes, didn't choose to list me? I was like, well, I hadn't at that time seen him in a deathmatch environment. He's like, that's my background. I'm more of a deathmatch wrestler than I am an actual wrestler. I'm like, well, guess I know now. So I think the MPX addicts are about to see just how ruggedly violent Gabe Wilder can be.
That right there is a scary breakdown because of what we just talked about, like laying the scene here on No Gimmicks. The fact that Tom A chose to get his lick back on Gabe in his own house. For those of you that don't, keep up with the culture or anything like that, if another man gets into your house and beats your ass, they have a receipt coming. Point blank, period. So I think with everything that's been going on, the emotion, the hatred, the animosity, costing Gabe half of his career. Again, we touched on the Scorn was one of the most successful tag teams in Metroplex Wrestling history. And for Tom A, week after week after week, we heard Tom A talk about how he was the backbone. He carried them. He was the Scorn. And Gabe was just nothing. And now seeing Gabe back, seeing Gabe in good form, did not look like he lost anything in that ring. And then when you go to the Purge, it is a night of chaos. It's a night of violence. Nothing is in the playbook, and it's a first blood match, which already means, well, there were no rules to begin with anyway. Whatever I get my hands on, I can use. This is going to be dangerous. And I piggyback on both of you. I think this is match of the night. It has all the potential. It is all there. And I have been the one on this show, even though, Kelvin gives me grief about it. I've been the one saying that Tom A, for all it's worth, all the credit there, yes, has every chip, every collar. This new resurrection of Tom A as a supernova has been great. The one thing that cost you your downfall in the business, and we've seen it, is ego. And Tom A's ego caught up to him eventually. And I think at the Purge, Gabe is going to cash in on that receipt that he's had in his back pocket for months. And we just got a small taste of it at Level Up. But at the Purge, if you're sitting front row, you might want to make sure you go ahead and just leave your seat, back up, give these guys some space, because it's going to be chaotic, in my opinion. That's all I can say. Shout out to my guy, Demo Diamond is in the chat. Yo, thank you, Demo, for jumping in. I appreciate you. I need you, very soon. Kelvin's giving me grief about the last time me and you were driving the bus. But speaking of driving the bus, because
what a
Demo
segue.
is here, great segue, right? I'm getting better at this. Thanks, Kelvin. Because Demo is here, let's talk about his match, right? Demo Diamond has been announced for one of the marquee single matches on this card that could be match of the night anywhere. And when it was announced first, let's paint the scene here. We knew that bounty hunter Brian Keith was coming to the Purge, but we didn't know why or for what reason. And then as Level Up happened and MPX goes on this hiatus, it gets announced that the bounty was accepted, but not by the bounty hunter, by the Shining Truth. Demo Diamond chose to accept whatever bounty was on the table and said, hey, BK is coming to town. I want that match. And we talked to Demo about it. And Demo is focused. Demo wanted this to prove something as if he hasn't already. So, Matt, what are you looking forward to when Demo Diamond goes one-on-one with Brian Keith at the Purge?
Yeah, 100%. And we know Demo quite well on this show. And MPX has seen Demo evolve and evolve and evolve. And I think that's something that Brian Keith really has to watch out for. Brian Keith has been in the ring with multitude of opponents, right? He's been in the ring with the best. He's been in the ring with so many varied opponents. But you have somebody in Demo Diamond who has a contingency plan for his contingency plans, and he's able to enact them all in the moment. That's what makes Demo such a dangerous competitor, is that, yes, people can plan for when things go wrong, but do they have to go back to the drawing board and figure out that plan? No, Demo can take that plan and immediately shift course. He's almost This is going to be a Marvel reference. He's almost like the Taskmaster. He sees what happens. He analyzes. He knows what he has to do to change course, and he does it within the scope of the match. And that's what makes him dangerous, and that's what Brian Keith is going to have to watch out for. Demo has a great deal of respect, obviously, for the bounty hunter. But when those matches kind of come up, when he's got something to prove against somebody he has a tremendous amount of respect for, that's when the shining truth shines the brightest.
Absolutely. And before I go to Kelvin, we talked about the bounty hunter, and just last night, New Texas Pro Wrestling, they had their show Hustletown, and I tuned in near the very end, and I caught Brian Keith in action against the Wind Dragon, Dustin Wynn, very familiar to the MPX addicts as well. And when you talk about a banger of a match, I didn't know I wanted to see. That was a phenomenal match. So I do want to say that if you haven't, sometime today, sometime next week, it's on YouTube, New Texas Pro Wrestling. Go check out Dustin Wynn versus Brian Keith, and you can kind of see that avenue that Matt was talking about when BK steps in the ring with the best, whether it's on AEW or at the independents. It's like another gear gets turned on. And for Demo, this one's going to be a spectacular match. So Kelvin, I'm going to throw it to you, but I saw your eyes light up because of something that's going on in the chat. So I'll let you take this one. And our good friend Matthew Palmer is here. So, hey, Matt, hope you're doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I say this a lot. We said it on the show already today. Enjoy them while you have them. And for Demo Diamond, I think this is the match that gets the rocket on him. I think he's already in spaces to where people are already commenting on him and going over his moves online, and it's awesome to see. But I think this match in particular, because it's Brian Keith, if you lived under a rock, Brian Keith has been the face of Texas wrestling for a while. And I think anytime he gets into a wrestling ring with someone, especially in Texas, their A+++ game comes out. I'm very much looking forward to this match because of that. Because we know how good Demo is. I think this is going to be a star-making performance for him. I think we're going to be looking at Demo in an even different light than we already do look at him, because here on No Gimmicks, we acknowledge the greatness. He is great, but I think you're going to see exactly how great he is, how hard-hitting this match is going to be, how tactical this match is going to be. Matt broke it down. He's always steps ahead. So is Brian Keith. This is going to be one of the hardest-hitting chess matches that you've seen in a long time, and that does have me excited. And like I said, after this match, we're going to be looking at Demo Diamond in a completely different light. And that makes me very, very excited.
Absolutely. And we highlighted this comment that Matthew Palmer put in the chat. Brian Keith versus Demo. Two cool MFs hitting each other. Yay, MPX. But yes, literally is going to be hard hitting. It's going to get violent. Kelvin, I piggyback on everything that you said. I think this is going to be the match. If it hasn't already, it's going to put a rocket on Demo, and the sky is the limit for the Shining Truth. And speaking of limits, Matt kind of said something, and I see Broken Bottles in the chat as well, asking about if we have dates, any information on the first show for MPX in their new building. And Matthew Palmer said, hey, guys, just got some more big news. If you ever want to join the show and let us know about the big news, please feel more than welcome. The door is open.
Yeah, we'll send you that link. You can hop on here right now, man. It's all good. You can be in a row. You could be in the bathtub. If you got some big news, it'd be a good time to drop it right now.
Absolutely. Last time he was on the show, yeah, it was interesting.
Very interesting. And speaking of interesting, speaking of big news, hard hitting, this next singles match that was announced for the Purge was just a singles match. But then over time, it seems to have graduated and transformed into a last man standing match. And this one is going to get violent. We talked about stars. A new star with MLW, the World Breaker, Brick Savage returns to Metroplex Wrestling at the Purge to take on one Big J. Matt, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, the minute that you said big and heavy hitting and all that, I knew we were going to the Brick Savage match, and could not be any more happy for Brick Savage as they embark on MLW. They seem like they're having the time of their life. I recently discovered that I can go back and see some MLW matches on my Roku over here, and while they've already taped some of the episodes, I have yet to actually see the World Breaker there, but I'm so excited for the fact that we still get to enjoy Brick Savage while they're here, right? Calvin, you say enjoy them while you can. We are getting a treat in being able to see Brick Savage. Not to plug my own stuff here, but like if you follow me on TikTok at the Choice Matt Andrews, I've been doing this thing where I go back and I recap some of my favorite MPX entrances. The World Breaker qualifies on that. And it's not just because I get to rattle off like 3 different nicknames and get a really good growling. It's the fact it's an Obafemi factor, right? Sometimes you see somebody come out and you just want to see him whip someone's ass. And that is what you get with the World Breaker. The minute that end of the line thing comes in, you're just like, all right, we're going to see someone get their ass kicked. That's the whole point. And some people, there's art, there's psychology, there's flippy dippy stuff. But sometimes when somebody comes out, you just want to see someone get their ass kicked. And that's what's going to happen. And I know Big J is more than capable, but like Big J is also a few months removed from being concussed against the stairs at Destiny, right? So like, is Big J all there? And to that point, if Big J is not all there, does that make him more dangerous? But I don't ever want to undersell or undervalue what Big J brings to the table, because the man's dangerous and also has the rest of JD Griffey's coalition around him. And don't forget, there's a lot of history there, right? And I'm not saying that stuff is going to happen, but it is the Purge and stuff could happen. But the entire Southwest Community Center is probably going to be on the side of the World Breaker, Brick Savage. I'm so excited to see this go down.
Does Big J still have the whole coalition? Because it seems like at Level Up, it seems like there's been some dissension in the ranks, but we'll get to that in a minute. Kelvin, your thoughts on Brick Savage, Big J, and what's been announced, last monster standing?
I'm gonna pretty much copy and paste what Matt said here. And first of all, shout out to Brick. MLW signing. It looks like they're going to be a part of the country unit, which, buddy, you have all of my attention with that. you got it. I love it. And if that's the move, then I know they're in good hands. And I know the knowledge that they're getting and bringing back to MPX with this match with Big J. I think you should look for a completely different Brick Savage, which is already a scary thought in its own. We've seen Lucha Brick on the scene, and just finding out they could fly is already a scary thought. And the diversity that they bring to the table, crazy. So again, you mentioned the team of behind Big J, right? Are they there? Because at Level Up, I seen the look in JD Griffey's eyes after what happened in that main event, and I don't know if JD Griffey still has full trust in that team, and is he going to be there for Big J? Is Joangelo Garcia going to be there for Big J? Because there is dissension. Is JD looking for a completely different team? We don't know that. What mind state is Big J in? We don't know that. There's a lot of unknowns for Big J going into this match. Completely wrong person that you want to be in that mind state with going into a match at the Purge. Oh, by the way, they are very pissed off still. So good luck. May the odds be in your favor. Don't do anything stupid, because that anything stupid will definitely follow you. I'm talking about don't try to do anything with Brick Savage. You know who you are. Don't do that. That is a terrible idea. Abort it now before, get it out of your brain if it's in there. Don't try it. It won't end well. Trust me. Thank you.
Got it. I won't.
Hey, trust me, I will be as far away from the ring during this match as I can, because I don't want any of that smoke. But speaking of smoke, because we talked about the coalition of JD Griffey, this one definitely has my interest, and I'm very curious about where this is going to go. We have another title match. This is the third one that's been announced. MPX Addicts title is going to be on the line. That guy, Red Chambers, defends his MPX Addicts championship against the chosen one, LVJ. And if, like Kelvin touched on, you miss Level Up, LVJ had his chance to be the MPX champion at the end of the night against Dylan Cavens. It was going sideways, and then it turned into a lumberjack match, and it got even more sideways. But the ending of all of that, we saw JD Griffey knock out LVJ, and that kind of caused a ripple effect. It caused some dominoes to fall. So for LVJ, the first question is, where's your head at? Are you focused more on the get back? Are you focused more on what's happening in your group? We've heard the comments that JD has said about the ranks. Or are you focused on Red Chambers and getting a title, which you've talked about wanting is a championship? But for LVJ, does the Addicts Championship even mean anything to you? And on a night like the Purge, he might just be there to hurt Red Chambers. I don't know. Kelvin, what are your thoughts on this Addicts title match?
Based off the actions that happened at Level Up, I think LVJ should be angry. If he's not angry, we said this, I said this to JD and I said this to LVJ when we had him on the show. I felt like in the beginning that he didn't really need the group. He didn't need it. I thought he stood well on his own. I thought his star was shining pretty good on his own. Leaving set 6 and joining JD on this thing, I thought for me, it would have rubbed the wrong way. But it had the opposite effect. I thought he learned a lot from JD Griffey, and I thought he used that to his benefit. Coming out of that situation, how does he use what he learned to get back at JD? One thing is for sure, the Addicts Championship, having a piece of gold around his waist, is a surefire way to make his star shine on his own and stand on his own 2 feet. That being said, I went against Red Chambers in a situation where I thought he was not going to walk out of that as champion, and that's against Luke Cameron. I thought Luke Cameron had this in the bag, and somehow, some way, Red Chambers showed the dog in him and got the job done. It's very, very, very hard to bet against that. Once you show me you have the dog in you, and trust and believe, it's there. It's there for both men. It's just what dog is bigger on that night. And like I said, the wrong thing to bring into a match of these types of magnitudes is emotions. And can LVJ keep those emotions in check, get the job done, and then focus his attention on where he thinks it needs to be? That's the biggest question of the match.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people were sadly against Red Chambers when he went in that street fight against Luke Cameron. Red Chambers can be a very underrated person. I think a lot of people undersell what he can actually do and what he can actually bring to the ring. But he's a champion of the Addicts, and that can't be put against him. With that being said, if you looked at the look in JD's face when he knocked out LVJ, that wasn't, oh no, oops, I did the wrong thing. That was more like
he had to come.
Yeah, you deserve that, didn't you? Gosh, look at you getting in the way. I think that's a motivating factor for LVJ. The other thing that is a motivating factor for LVJ, he's a player. He is a rebounder. There has never been a situation that I've known LVJ in where if he gets knocked down, if he gets put down a peg, he doesn't know exactly how to bounce back up and come back on top, which is what happened with the whole set 6 thing, right? You would think that the set 6 thing would have completely derailed LVJ's momentum, would have given him a person without a country kind of thing. But no, he took that opportunity, rebounded, and has had the most successful MPX run of his career so far. LVJ has everything in front of him. And I think he's going to find a way to rebound from what happened at Level Up and get back on top of his game.
Absolutely love that from both of y'all. And I will copy and paste both of those. Kelvin, you did say something that, I, like you, have been eating a lot of crow on this show. And Red Chambers definitely proved something at Level Up. As one of those guys, Red is my guy. I do support Red. And going into that street fight, because it was someone like Lethal Luke Cameron, it did seem like the odds were not in his favor. But the dog in Red Chambers woke up, and Red, you are that guy for a reason. You are the Addicts champion for a reason. So going into this one's going to be a very, very close match you want to keep your eye on. Both of these guys have something to prove, but like we've learned, one guy to not bet against on this show is Red Chambers. So I can't wait to see what unfolds. And speaking of unfold, this one, women's action. Triple threat for the MPX Women's Championship. Champion Priscilla Kelly defends her title against Abaddon and Vert Vixen. I already know where we're going because we, as a panel, we talked about Vert a lot, especially at Destiny, having her join us. But Matt, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts on this Women's Championship triple threat match?
So I know I said earlier that the first blood match had the most storyline going into it. If there's one that is a close second, it is this match. Not only do we have Abaddon, the former champion who lost at the Texas Rumble against Nikki Blackheart and has never had a chance to come back and regain that, we also have Vert Vixen, who has undergone this incredible transformation of character ever since the last Who Runs the World. And that, if you have followed Vert Vixen on socials, if you thought she was everywhere before, she is now everywhere. Like, that character transformation, not that she necessarily needed it, I think she was going to end up being on people's radar regardless, but this has just put her on another level. And that's almost pun intended, right? Because when she underwent that and she took away the player one gimmick, I thought, okay, this is the next level of Vert Vixen. And this is truly what it is. This is her next level. This is everything. She's finally comfortable with herself, with who she is, with what she brings to the table. It would not surprise me if we hear "and new" at the end of the night and it's Vert Vixen's hand that gets raised. On the other side, Abaddon, always a treat to have them here at MPX. Always a treat to see them in the title picture. They were a phenomenal champion while they were there with the title in their hands. I just don't think it's Abaddon's night. I think Vert Vixen has everything in the world coming. And Priscilla Kelly, fantastic. Like, obviously brings the notoriety, brings the name factor to MPX, has had a couple of great defenses, really impressed against Risa Clark back at Destiny. There's no stopping Vert Vixen. And I made the mistake last time at betting again of saying some things to Vert Vixen that may have pissed her off. But if you'd known me for any length of time on this show, I'm probably like Vert Vixen's my 1A or 1B, depending on if we're talking about Izzy James in that same topic. But 1A and 1B, Izzy James, Vert Vixen, top two talents in Texas that aren't technically signed to one of the big companies. And Vert Vixen, at any point in time, could be 1A. So that's my thought on that.
I love that. Kelvin?
You know how I feel about Vert. I've said this character change, for me, it was needed, Matt. I think she needed it. And I think after that, she said something that really resonated with me. She put out a video, and at the end of that video, she said, second place sucks. That one line resonated with me. And it's because I felt like with the player one gimmick, for a while, it felt like second place is where she landed. And she was happy to be there. She's no longer happy to be there. She wants that top spot. I think I agree with you. I think after this match, we're going to be saying that new. I think the chip on her shoulder is massive. And with Abaddon, they've held the championship. Priscilla Kelly is the current champion. For Vert Vixen to hold that championship at the end of this night, again, the Purge is one of the wildest nights of the year. But I think this is it's time. It's time for Vert Vixen to reach the top of the mountain. And I could see that. Everything that she's done, she's been everywhere, like you said. She's been gaining that knowledge, and she's been that person everywhere that she's gone. She's proven that I have a chip on my shoulder. There's a level out there that I want to reach, and I'm going to reach it. And I think she will make this statement at the Purge that I'm on my way there.
And to both of you guys, if you're going to choose any clip from this show to clip out and post onto social media as an excerpt, you post this one, because that'll get you guys the engagement that you guys need for all this. She'll send that back out with a quote tweet and everything. Like, she's looking for that. She's looking for people to say it's her time so that she can say, yeah, I know.
Done.
Indeed, I will agree, and I'm gonna piggyback on both of you guys 1,000% here, because I do too feel that at the end of the night at the Purge, we are going to hear and new, and I do believe that it will be Vert Vixen, the new MPX Women's Champion. And Richard Hill put out a poll for the MPX Addicts not too long ago. How many of the and news and how many of the and steals do you guys see happening at the Purge with our 5 title matches? And I'm not going to lie, I've been going back and forth with my number, but the one that has not changed since it's been announced has been this one. I do believe that Vert Vixen will be the new MPX Women's Champion at the end of the night. And speaking end of the night, we've got 2 huge matches left. Both of these could be the main event, but I feel like I know which one is going to be the main event. So let's talk about the last title match that's been announced for this card. This one for the MPX Championship. Champion Dylan Cavens defends his title against one reincarnation of excellence, Kari Ja Wright. I've got a lot of thoughts on this one, but I want to go to you first, Kelvin. What are your thoughts on this match? Oh, you did the thing again. You're muted.
Every single show. But I want to go back to Level Up for a minute. I'm going to show you guys something that I caught from my point of view. And just indulge me real quick. From my point of view, from my point of view, chaos is ensuing all around this man, and he's just dead calm. Dead calm. No blink, no emotion, nothing. I've seen Kari Ja Wright, and one thing that I've noticed about him, he is very, very animated. His face tells a story. And in this moment, when his face would normally be lit up like a Christmas tree, ready to engage, dead silent, dead calm, just looking. The attitude changed, and we talked about this from Vert Vixen, but Kari Ja Wright, his attitude change is scary. It's because we know how talented he is. It's because we know how smooth he is. and he's displaying something that I think we didn't know we needed to see. That is flat out focus and anger. Because he's been on this show saying that he's also looking to be in the top spot. He also has those goals of leveling up, and he feels like he needs to be there. And I think with this attitude change, it's one of those things that when I see it, it doesn't look like he's emotional. He's not emotional. And for everybody else, that is a problem. That is a big problem because he's not focused on being animated. He's not doing the extra. He's going in there with intention of walking out with something that's around your waist and it's going to be around his. Flat out, we talk about and news. This is a night we could see and new in a very, very violent fashion. And honestly, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that one bit.
Yeah. I it's always hard to bet against Cavens. People have bet against Cavens so many times, and that's how we ended up with the MPX championship, right? Turn back the clock a little bit. A couple years ago, Kari Wright was probably one of the more despised people on the roster, right? Somebody like it didn't matter that music hit. Everyone hated anybody anybody associated with Kari Wright. He decided something needed to be changed, right? Came out. All of a sudden, the MPX addict started respecting the fact that he was working his ass off. Started respecting the fact, and then he, like you saw it in the first match where people started chanting Kari. He was like, "Okay, this is cool. This is new." Like he was just taking it easy. He was like, "Okay, I guess I'll do this," and that's a good thing, right? And that took him to the MPX championship. But then he lost the MPX championship and has not been anywhere near that scene ever since. And so what did he do? He adapted. He figured out, okay, look, I don't care if I'm booed. I don't care if I'm cheered. What I am is me. And people might have missed it because of a little technical mishap with the audio and all that. Kari debuted a completely new look and a completely new character and a completely new attitude coming out of Level Up. That is going to carry him far. And like you said, Kelvin, Vert Vixen's character change was needed. I think Kari needs this almost as much. So would it surprise me to hear and new? It would not surprise me in the slightest. Do I think Cavens is still the underdog of underdogs? Yeah, absolutely. So it would not surprise me either to hear and still. But I do think this is something that Cavens is sorely needed, which is a one-on-one match for the championship. Think about it. His whole reign has been like littered with a whole bunch of like, okay, outside interference here, outside interference there, doesn't matter what. And yes, he's overcome all the odds. This is a one-on-one. And that is what's most intriguing about this match to me.
Absolutely, man. I'm gonna piggyback on both of your thoughts, and I'm gonna raise the stakes here a little bit, if you will. Like I said, I got a lot of thoughts on this one. Both of these guys, Dylan Cavens and Kari Wright, they know where they stand with me. They're both my boys. Here on the family side, my girls especially, they love Dylan Cavens. I kid you guys not. With MPX being on hiatus, my girls will see wrestling in some way, shape, form, or fashion. The first thing they say is, I want to see Cavens or I want to see Demo. So for me, I'm like, ouch, that's a little disrespectful because where's the love for Kari, right? So just seeing it from that lens, like you guys said, Kari has everything. He's got the look. He's got the tools. He's got the attitude. He's smooth. He can wrestle. He can grapple. He can strike. He is that guy. And going into this, I think a lot of the MPX addicts are still sleeping on Kari Wright, which is a problem, if you will, because for those of you that know Kari, y'all know Kari. And for the new addicts who are just seeing Kari, you're in for a treat. And on a night like the Purge, on a night where anything can happen, anything goes, the top prize is on the line. And Matt touched on this perfectly. Kari hasn't even been mentioned in the MPX title picture in a while, but Kari's been vocal about that. If you follow him on social media, Kari's let it be known, like, hey, I don't know why people aren't talking about me. I don't know why people aren't booking me. I don't know why people forgot I am him. And now with this gear change, if you will, Kari's found that it factor again. And I think that it factor is going to take him very far. And the first step is Saturday, July the 11th at the Purge, when he does walk out and new MPX champion over Dylan Cavens. But to Dylan's point, he is the underdog of underdogs. If anybody can withstand the storm, if anybody can hang in there, if anybody can survive the deep waters, it is Dylan Cavens. So the match is going to be very, very special to see. It is definitely something that you want to stay locked in for and tuned in for. But the final match of the night for the Purge, guys, honestly, I don't know if I want to be in the building for this one. I don't know if anybody wants to be in the building for this one. Not only do we have zombies afoot at the Purge, JCW's The Outbreak makes their MPX debut, but standing across from them in a tag team match, we have a very formidable, very dangerous, very violent, so many more additives here. The Texas Chainsaw, Sky De La Cremosa, and Magnificent Malico teaming up to take on The Outbreak. Kelvin, I'm going to go with you first on this one. What are your thoughts?
Bro, this is like full moon on Halloween night. This is crazy. I spoke about how Sky and the Purge are like synonymous with one another. And I feel like he said, okay, it's not crazy enough. Let's add Malico. And oh, by the way, let's take on The Outbreak. And when this match was announced, I bought tickets immediately. I'm not gonna lie. I bought tickets immediately. I have to see this, but I have to be far away from it also. So I think this is a treat for the MPX addicts. This is a perfect way to bring everybody back. We're going to be looking at something special in this match, and I can't wait for it. I think this match encapsulates everything the Purge is. It's going to be violent. It's going to be unique, and it's going to have people talking about it. So the Purge needed this match, and I think this is the cherry on top of a very, very good ice cream. And I think to have this match on the Purge, it couldn't happen anywhere else. So let's see what happens. I can't even give a prediction because, truth be told, I don't care what the outcome of this match is. I just want to see it, and that's all I want. I want to see this match immediately.
It's okay. We'll save the prediction for later because we still got a couple of weeks. We've given some this show, but we'll do a full prediction maybe on the kickoff of the Purge. But Matt, if you're still there and I hear your voice, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, what the hell are we doing? What is it like? So here's the thing, right? This was the first match that was announced, right? This was the first match that was announced. The Outbreak was the first special guest ever announced for the Purge. And I went and I looked up and I said, What? Why are we having to bring zombies into this? As if the Purge needed any other reason to be any more ridiculously unpredictable and absurdly off the walls. We are now introducing zombies. And okay, so they're going to take on the Texas Chainsaw. And by the way, can you imagine if the law were involved in this, right? No, I don't think this would have happened this way. No, we have the Texas Chainsaw back. And thankfully, right? Because I don't think the law wanted any part of zombies, but the Texas Chainsaw will take on anything and anywhere. And so Sky goes through this whole thing about figuring out, okay, who's going to be my tag team partner? Who's going to take them on? There's nobody on the roster. And then the freaking mad world craziness hits and you go, what? Like, I almost expect some cinematic elements to this match, right? And remember a few years back, Malico had that cinematic match against Dexter Hardaway that was off the rails. It would not surprise me if things go outside of the Southwest Community Center while still being inside the Southwest Community Center, if that makes sense. This match is, I mean, we don't have a time limit for when we have to allow kids 18 and up or 18 and under out of the building, right? Because like this match is gonna be scary. Be careful of the kids, but this match is gonna be God, it's going to be a viral match. And like you said, Kevin, I don't care who wins. I'm just here for the chaos. That being said, as soon as those ring introductions are over, I'm going to the back. So let's just say that. Let's just say that.
Absolutely. You know what, Matt, do you know who we can talk to about gaining level 9 clearance so we don't have to get involved or hurt? Maybe for you and me, Kelvin's fine. Kelvin's a big boy. He can survive.
Don't look at me. I was level 2 last year. Don't look at me.
Oh man.
And again, I've drawn the parallels. I look like Glenn. Those zombies, they don't know how to freaking differentiate. I'm dead. I'm dead.
You do have a point. Unfortunately, this match is definitely going to be special. I remember, Matt, you touched on it. Sky, when it was announced that the outbreak was coming, of course, who else but Sky is going to accept the challenge, right? Sky went on this journey and was like, hey, I got to find somebody worthy enough, which is already scary in itself to say from Sky, to help me take on the outbreak. And I remember the addicts clamoring, like, who could be his partner? I, for one, said, hey, give me an excessive violence reunion. Somebody call Wesley Crane. Bring him back in here. Let's make it chaotic. They one-upped that. And then they two-upped it by going to the Mad World, like Malico. MPX addicts, if you didn't know who Malico was, if you haven't seen the real Texas Chainsaw, and if you haven't seen the outbreak, go ahead and buckle up. Get ready. You're in for a treat. And if you haven't gotten your tickets already, mpxwrestling.com. There are still some tickets available. You do not want to wait to get your tickets, though. The earlier you get them, the better your seats are in the house. Even though by the end of the night, there may not be much left of the Southwest Community Center because of the purge. But fellas, that was the show, All-Star Dad Edition of the Purge. Kelvin, final thoughts to the people in the addicts.
Yeah, man, get your tickets. This is going to be one for the books. Great matches, a great return. Hopefully some big news on the front on that show too for MPX going into the future. It's
Palmer, where was that? Where was that, Palmer? Where was that big news you said you had, huh?
Exactly. I didn't say it, but I'm co-signing. But hopefully we get some big news on the front. I know the addicts have missed MPX, so this is your chance, man. Get your tickets. Let's sell this thing out. Let's bring back MPX with style, and let's carry this forward into the future. But thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you to the chat because this was awesome. And thank you, Elliot. What last words do you have?
What I think Elliot is really trying to say is for those of you that are not going to be anywhere near Fort Worth or the Southwest Community Center for this, don't forget, we should, I hope, still be streaming on twitch.tv/Metroplex Wrestling so you can catch the Purge anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you to everybody in the chat, MPX addicts, No Gimmicks Nation, wrestling fans as a whole. Make sure if you haven't already, like, share, stay tuned to the No Gimmicks podcast. We do have a lot coming down the pipeline. Interview with Travis Cuddy is coming out very soon. We've got some other big names on tap, so stay tuned for that. We've got the Purge kickoff that we're working out. And I believe because he was in the chat earlier, you know, D1 Ignite University crew, they may be involved in some capacity, but that's neither here nor there. But as we always say, take care of each other, enjoy what you're going to enjoy. And Matt, I'll let you close it out because we always love hearing what you got to say to close out your TikToks.
MPX addicts, we can't wait to see you July 11th from the Southwest Community Center for Metroplex Wrestling's The Purge. And until then, I'm the Choice Matt Andrews. This is the No Gimmicks Podcast, and we'll see you at the show.
And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmicks, gimmicks.